We're just a little over a month away from the federal election. Each party, of course, is beginning to roll out messaging in a bid to make up some ground in the polls. So what's in store? John Capobianco is Senior Vice President at FleishmanHillard HighRoad, and Peter Donolo, Vice Chair at Hill+Knowlton Canada. Great to have both of you with us. And for those who don't know, many will, you are both former party operatives. So
He's a former candidate, even better than
and a candidate. So
I put my name on the line, although Peter helps people get elected.
We're going to color you blue, John, and you red, Peter, just so people know you do still have, obviously in your current roles, you've got to play a little bit in the middle, but let's call it what it is. I want to start with this question of the economy, because often it is said that that's sort of the debate is that how you vote is a pocketbook issue. It's the economy stupid is the classic, of course, strategy thinking. Is it true this time, John? Because we've heard sort of inferences that that's actually not top of mind for Canadians. Is that wishful thinking on the part of some, or is that true?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the economy is always top of mind. I think pocketbook issues are always something that electorates look at. If the economy is bad, they tend to always want to sort of blame the person in charge, and they'll sort of look at others for alternatives. If the economy is doing well and jobs are there and secure, I think people will generally be satisfied with the current government. Although in this campaign, I think immigration is going to be an issue. I think you're going to find other issues that are going to creep up. But bottom line, I think the economy always has a huge input on elections.
And what's your read, Peter? Is it as big as ever?
I don't think it's the macro economy the way it has been in the past, and some elections in the past, whether it's over free trade or whether it's over unemployment or whatever. I think it's very much about cost of living and the cost of living for quote-unquote average Canadians, kitchen table issues. So I think both the Liberals and the Conservatives are seized with that issue. They both approach it, the same issue from different ways. Liberals talk about pharmacare, things we're going to do to help lighten your load. The Conservatives say, hey, the problem is you're paying too much taxes, and we'll help lighten your load that way. But it's a same diagnosis, different prescription. So yeah, the economy, but really in terms of what it means in a micro sense in people's lives, people making, making do, trying to make do at the end of the month, go from one paycheck to the next. I think that's what it is.
Well, so then on that theme, we obviously, in a big picture way, the economy is doing well. So you would assume that favors the incumbent, and yet you do get this kind of granular feeling that people don't feel as though they're doing well, right? There's a bit of a disconnect between what the business journalists would say is the headline and what people at the kitchen table actually think. How do the parties differentiate themselves on this? I know it's all about growing the middle class or people who want to be middle class, but what does it actually mean? Well,
and I think what you're going to see with the Conservatives is exactly that, Amanda. You're going to see, even with their tagline or their campaign slogan, which is, putting you first or getting you ahead. I think a lot of the Conservatives and those who voted Conservative or want to vote Conservative are going to say, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Like, when the Liberals were put in and Justin Trudeau put all these promises in place and even put in place a timeline for government and deficits that he blew off and didn't commit to over the last number of years. Is that enough for people to say, hey, you know what? I just didn't get that. I didn't expect to see that kind of a leader now that I elected last time. That's going to be a big play in this election campaign. So even though jobs and the economy are doing well, I don't think people feel comfortable enough to know that, in a year or two or three from now, is the economy going to be strong? And they're also hearing things from the U.S. and other issues that are causing problems, and they're going to feel Canada's going to be caught in that wave.
So what's the strategy in response, Peter, if that's true?
I think it is true, and I think another reason, Amanda, is that it's a gig economy, right? There might be high levels of employment, but people are, cobbling together a couple of jobs or jobs that they're trained to do better than that, et cetera. So I think that's one reason why there is this uncertainty and this kind of malaise. But I think what the Liberals will say in response to this, and I think John's right, that'll be the Conservative angle. Liberals will say, hold on, the Conservatives and the economy have one answer, and that's cut, cut, cut. You saw it under Harris, you saw it under Harper, you're seeing it in, they'll say, in Ford's Ontario now, and that's what Scheer wants to do. So we have programs that you need to look after your family, your kids, your elderly parents, and you got to watch it because these guys will come in and they'll take them away.
We hope to talk more regularly as we go through, and we actually get kind of real platform stuff out of all the parties, and we can start costing it. But let's, heading into, even before, still pre-election, just 1 minute here, but Peter, scandal, is it behind the Liberals? Will it be an issue? Can the Conservatives keep it alive?
Listen, he's not the 2015 model anymore. He's dented up. He's got a few scratches. So I think to that extent it hurts him. But I think it's baked in levels of support now. I don't think there's much new that can come out about this that's going to hurt him or the Liberals.
30 seconds.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the dents and the paint, you can't paint over that. I think people are going to affect by it. I think there's some baked in for sure, but I think it's going to play to a narrative that's going to affect the Prime Minister, and it has already.
All right, Peter Donolo, John Capobianco, thank you both for being here.